How long does it really actually take to get good at writing? That's a question I've asked myself many times over the past few years, and I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability in this video, and I'm going to throw in some tips for fast progression as well. If you're anything like me, or even if you're not, it probably seems like it might be years before you can sit down and confidently write a story from start to finish without being held back at every turn by self-doubt. It might seem impossible for you to get to that position really fast, but you actually can, because here's a secret. It's not a matter of time, it's a matter of experience. Now, normally when people say experience, that brings to mind a long period of time, right? It feels like to say someone's experienced means they've been doing something for a long time and they've learned all there is to know. And that's true, that's what it can mean, but experience isn't just measured in time, it's measured in actions. Experience is gained by encountering things from start to finish, by dealing with things and learning from things. And in writing, that means writing widely and finishing stories. Regularly finishing work is a fantastic way for a writer to progress. In my opinion, there's far more value to writing 10 short stories and finishing them all, even if they're all a bit crap, than just rewriting the perfect novel opening that's just 10,000 words over and over again. If one person spent 5 years writing a novel and another person spent those 5 years writing 30 stories a year, I mean, is it even debatable who would end up a better writer after those 5 years? To me it's not, but let me know in the comments if you disagree. To get better at writing a lot quicker, taking yourself through that process of crafting a story from start to finish over and over will help. It will take all of those things that you're not so sure on, all of those new scenarios and new skills that you haven't learned yet, and it will turn them into tools that you can just use for the rest of your writing life. And the more widely you write, the more of these tools you'll collect, and the more diverse all of these tools will be, and that doesn't take years and years. There's loads of great reasons why new writers should try writing a novel. I would never want to discourage them from doing that, but it is still kind of a slow learning process. There's fewer opportunities along the way to build those tools that you might need. A novel only has one opening and one ending and a limited number of characters that you can create and introduce to your reader. If you spend all of your time just writing novels, you'll put down many thousands more words than someone who's just writing short stories, but you might still wind up being less experienced as a writer than they are because you just haven't had the opportunity to use as many skills as regularly. Writing other stuff like short stories and flash fiction and disconnected scenes or just pieces of dialogue will introduce you to more things to write about and more ways to approach writing. All of that will expose you to your weaknesses, which moves me on to my next point. Progress, or getting better as a writer really quickly, is a combination of two things for me. Number one is writing widely, as I've already said, and the second one is targeting your weaknesses. And I'm going to show you how I do exactly that. It sucks to feel like you don't know what you're doing with writing, and it isn't that much fun to kind of scramble through something knowing that probably what you're writing is garbage. But while that maybe isn't the most enjoyable part of writing, I do think it's probably one of the most beneficial things you can do. If you're not good at dialogue, study it, listen to how people talk, write dialogue, write more dialogue. If it's description that you're not good at, study that, watch videos on it, read books on it, and read a lot of description and write a lot of description. Figure out how that stuff works, make yourself deal with it and deal with it a lot. It's kind of like immersion therapy for writers. Keep practicing that weakness until it turns from bad to not that bad to okay to good to great. This is a hard thing to do. It's not fun to just repeat things that you're not good at over and over again, but it takes a lot of determination to do it, and it's really beneficial. So while you are going through that, just make sure you remind yourself why you're doing that. And it's not so you can get better as a writer or progress or learn or any of that boring sounding stuff. It's deeper than that. It's because you want to tell great stories, you want to write great books, you want to take your readers on adventures with you, or you want to make them tell everybody they know about your book. That's why you're doing it. Personally, my aim, or the goal that I keep in mind when I'm writing a book, is that maybe if someone's having a terrible day, maybe if they work in a job they don't like, or they're just going through a hard time or whatever, if they have an hour to spare, maybe on a lunch break or just getting away from stuff, if they can read up something I've written for an hour and just feel better, or escape into it so they don't have to deal with the crap that's going on, that's what I want to do for them. That's what I want most of all, to just occasionally help people escape from this occasionally garbage world, #2020, maybe just for a while. And whatever your deepest aim with writing is, it's probably totally different from mine, and that's okay. All you have to do to get there is repeat those weaknesses. to keep pushing through them and to turn them from weaknesses into something you really actually love about your writing. You might not be great at some stuff right now, but you'd be surprised how quickly you can patch stuff up and get better. And then before you know it, you'll arrive at a point where that standard of writing that you want is attainable to you. It's in front of you and you can get there. And then one day you'll realise you actually love your own writing. That feeling, to me, is worth a bit of time spent buried in your weaknesses. Chase them down, eliminate them. Begs the question though, what if you don't know what your weaknesses are? And first of all, let me just clarify that not knowing what your weaknesses are isn't the same thing as assuming you have no weaknesses, so don't worry about that. Not being able to see your own weaknesses is normal, that's why they're weaknesses. One way to figure out what they might be is as simple as reading back what you've written. The important thing here though is to read it in full as one whole contained story. Don't read it bit by bit as you're writing along because you won't connect things together. There's no point tasting a cake when you've only laid out the ingredients, or when you've just mixed it into batter, or when it's a cake but it hasn't got the icing on and I might be hungry. The point is, you need to look at the whole story as one thing. Experience it in real time, reading it like a reader would. That way you'll be able to piece those things together and see what works and what doesn't work so much. And you will spot weaknesses this way. Probably not all of them, and that's alright, but you'll spot the biggest ones and they're the ones that you need to head off. That's one way to figure out weaknesses. The other way is scarier, but it's probably better. It's to give your writing to other people, especially other writers, and to ask for feedback and to listen to that feedback. Other writers especially will see things that you can improve in your writing straight away. And that doesn't make you stupid or a bad writer, that just makes you human. And don't look at those mistakes as embarrassing errors, look at them as wide open opportunities for you to eradicate something that is holding you back. Every one of those is an opportunity to progress really fast. You might be thinking, like I used to do, but I don't know anybody else who writes. I'm not a member of any groups. I don't know who do I give stuff to. I understand that feeling, I really do. I worked on my writing without talking to any other writers for a long time. So now's your chance. If you leave me a comment, let me know about your writing, I'll engage with you and we can talk about writing. I answer all my comments. Online, I've figured out, is a great place to find a community of other writers that you can share ideas with and ask for feedback. On that note, I wanted to ask whether you are a returning subscriber, thanks by the way, or just a new visitor, would you be interested in a place where this small community that I'm growing can talk about writing together? I'm slowly growing a community here week by week, which I really appreciate. Thank you very much for being here. And I just wondered whether, like a writers group, but maybe on Discord, which is just an app for your phone if you're not familiar with it, or a web browser, I was wondering if you just wanted a place where we can talk about writing stuff besides just the comments section. I just want to help people not feel isolated like I did. Maybe they're writing and they've got no one to show anything to. And if it's a communal place like a Discord server, you don't have to reach out to one specific person and put yourself on the line in that way. You can just join and begin chatting with other people, and then when you feel like it, you can exchange work, or if you don't feel like it and you just want to talk, that's great too. So let me know if you want that and I can look into it, or if there's any alternatives that I'm not seeing that you think would be better, feel free to suggest them in the comments as well. Whatever the case, leave me a comment, talk about writing, especially if you don't normally talk to anybody about it. Take that step because it'll definitely be worth it. So how long does it really take to get good at writing? Not nearly as long as you might think, as long as you come at it in the right way. Write as widely as you possibly can and target the weaknesses in your writing. If you can do that, I think you'll manage to reach a place where you're happier with your writing in days and weeks rather than months and years. My aim with this channel is to support other writers and to help them develop their writing as I develop mine. I want to help you tell your best story, so if that sounds useful to you, don't forget to subscribe down below for more videos like this every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.